So more on that after the presentation, but without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to turn my video off so you can concentrate a little bit better. And
do it.
Yeah, so here we are. So leads. Let's talk about leads. So we think of these leads as seeds, the seeds in franchise development. And they're the beginning. And every new unit sold comes from a lead, whether it's a face fresh to franchising or a successfully seasoned multi-unit operator. You have many ways to generate these leads too. You have PPC campaigns, social ads, email, texting, trade shows, brokers, SEO to increase your site's organic traffic, referrals, press releases, billboards, brand gravity, portals, and usually best, your existing franchisees. But you know all that. And you also know that digital campaigns have the highest spend and on average delivering the most new unit sales. But did you know that spend is quite a bit less on a service like FranchiseHelp, yet we remain a top sales producer? It's true. There's no magic involved. It's lots of care and work on your part because these seeds simply dry up without attention from the salesperson. So the steadfast franchise development pro quickly gets each seed into the ground in an effort to sprout. So they can use a few contact methods, but let's look at calling and equate that to watering and watching, and each attempt is a day. So who isn't surprised when a lead picks up on that first call, the first day? I mean, I know I am. But studies show this rarely happens. Actually, I know the best automated and two-way communication tool to help that, but you can ask me about that offline. So typically, it takes several attempts, several days for an answer, a sprout. So sure, some are discovered quickly to not be viable. Some never come up. But on average, it takes about 8 attempts or touches, or to keep with this plant analogy, days before we see something. 8 tries. So when new leads are coming in daily, initial outreach with compounding follow-up is a lot to manage. Now, that supposes that each and every lead gets the attention it needs. But does it though? Sadly, no. Mystery shops and third-party analysis show us that year after year, more than 30% of inbound leads never get a first contact attempt. Up to 60% are abandoned after just one try. But check this out. The chance of connecting with a lead skyrockets to 90% on the 6th call attempt. Talk about patience. And just like hundreds of seeds spread out, thinned as they break through and identified for potential, nurtured to realize it, your sales funnel holds many prospects leading to the one with prize-winning growth. Now that was a quality seed. Before knowing the nuance of portal leads, people often expect a lot of blue ribbon seeds. We're in sales. That just doesn't happen. Well, not often anyway. So working with portal leads is a grind. There is absolutely no denying. So folks get discouraged by what feels like endless calling, no answers, by leads changing their minds, or by getting someone who didn't provide factual financial information to our system. But don't worry, FranchiseHelp works with you on that last one. But you become disappointed, disenchanted, and here it comes. If only these leads were better, which, you know, I hear out of sincere frustration. But I get it. It happens to me too. Maybe it's helpful to set a baseline for the big Q. So quality. Can we agree on this? Quality is a real human being, real data points, real quiz answers, automated email and phone verification through cross-checking database APIs, and real-time delivery as soon as our user selects your brand for information. All of that is a healthy lead, and it's a reliable baseline of quality. It's also standard with FranchiseHelp. So you can choose to buy a portal lead further along in growth, like our own lead qualification. And that's when FranchiseHelp intercepts a lead who used our system to get information on your brand. And we call them to ask a series of questions to confirm their information and intent. After a lead answers everything positively, we set up a follow-up meeting for a phone call with the brand and send the lead to you. So naturally, FranchiseHelp lead qualification will get higher quality, and it costs at least 10 times more per lead though. Also for leads further along, you can definitely work with consultants and brokers. Maybe you already do. So brokers will introduce candidates they vet by various criteria, and closing a deal from that lead has a high price. Because brokers work leads for you for a while. They do the seeding and the nurturing at the beginning of the life cycle, at the top of the funnel. They handle all those touches necessary to create a sales qualified lead. And if you recall earlier, I talked about the average of 8 contact attempts before connecting in a meaningful way with the lead. So brokers, they use their personal contacts, they use portal leads, leads generated through their professional networks to find good candidates for you, and their compensation usually matches the effort. So you pay for their sales experience, their industry knowledge, their network of relationships that they spent months and even years grooming and nurturing. But if you don't want or need the capital boost from the initial franchise fee, and you can't spend time contacting leads, brokers are a solid option. But if you're simply tired of calling and contacting leads and becoming frustrated, take a break. If you have someone who can take over outreach, do it. If you have an automated solution for inbounds, use it. If your CRM has drip campaigns, set those up. But get your mind off the calling. Go Archimedes on it. Take a bath. Go outside. Take a walk. Meditate. Play with your pets. Do something else and reset. And again, there's no magic formula. There's just good process. So it's process with a winning combination of patience, care, and work, and volume. Veterans of FranDev and business development can amass several hundred attempts and touches via calling and texting and emailing leads every week. It's routine and, dare I say nowadays, normal. As the days go on, with a thinning and tossing of leads that occurs, keeping new leads coming in is vital. So volume and consistency, key. And last year, FranchiseHelp generated over 3.5 million sessions on our site from nearly 3 million unique visits. Our highly engineered system collects several data points to curate a more personalized list of franchise opportunities. We automate the verification process, deliver fresh leads to our clients in real time, several thousand leads every month, and keep costs low, even with all the pioneering tech we deploy. So FranchiseHelp is at the top of this industry in lead volume, month after month, year after year. And lead for lead, dollar for dollar, tech-based portal lead gen from FranchiseHelp is effective and valuable. You do stand to gain from working leads yourself. So let's bring up the initial franchise fees one more time. The majority of you already know, but these amounts of money are due upon closing new deals. And they range from the low tens all the way up to, say, $50,000. So I'll take that $50,000 into an example of closing 2 new deals. So let's take deal number 1 was a portal lead from FranchiseHelp. And you worked the seeds in the soil from the start to find that winner. Deal 2 was facilitated by a trusted broker. And let's say you demoed and held discovery days at the same time for both these, for these 2 leads. And you closed both like the next week. So did you do less work with the broker lead? You bet you did. And you also spent about 350% more for that deal in the form of a success fee paid to the broker. And like I mentioned, the broker or consultant, which is being used more nowadays, usually does a lot more work with the lead before recommending them to you. Excuse me. Pardon me. The brokers I know are great at what they do. Their services are valuable, especially for franchisors with no time for FranDev. But if you have time, do you want to pay 350% more for a deal? I've heard brokers justify that cost by saying the initial franchise fee is the worst money the franchisor will make on a deal. This is to say that depending on the level of unit success, the long-term value, the royalties, et cetera, from selling a new unit will outweigh a $50,000 initial fee. While this can be true, it neglects that the upfront initial fee can go to things like training and support, and site selection, and many other expenses of the franchisor. So ask yourself if you want to pay most of your franchise fee to a broker or keep most of it towards working capital to service your brand growth. So I get what they're saying, but worst money, it's not. But it is about priorities. I think frequent, sizable cash injections are pretty good. So if you have the time and learn to work efficiently with our leads and volume, do it and keep more cash in your business. And remember, regardless of where the lead comes from, you still have to close the deal. So from seed to prize-winning growth, there is impressive value working FranchiseHelp leads. We built a great system years ago and continue to enhance its ability to deliver fresh leads from wherever you want to extend your brand's reach. And we are proud to have the premier online lead generation system in franchising, serving the entirety of this incredible industry. But hey, if you lack the time or get easily overwhelmed and frustrated with the early stage of the sales process, the top of the funnel stuff, it's totally okay. Because perhaps more expensive solutions to help sell new units, grow your brand is a better fit. But if you're willing to put your hands in the soil, FranchiseHelp is here to help your garden grow. So thank you. That's going to be the end of my presentation. I will open it up to any comments here in a moment. I'm going to leave that screen on there because I love the color orange just for a moment. And then I will go back to the video part and put my face back up here.
That was great. Thank you, Alfonso.
Hey, thanks, Scott. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. So as I get back in here and get all these windows closed down, let me just kind of talk about my history. So I don't come from a franchise background per se. When I was a young pup in Central Texas, and actually I'm in Brazos Valley, Texas right now, Bryan College Station area. I came down to help my folks out during this crazy COVID stuff. Try to inject a little more stability. But I do live in the Hudson Valley, New York, and you know, things are getting better up there. But so when I was 14 years old, my dad bought a steakhouse. It was part of a franchise, so it is long gone. But that's where I got my start in franchising, so to speak. But since then, I've worked in graphic design. I've run restaurants, ran a bar in Chicago, and I spent a lot of time in IT, data infrastructure primarily, and physical layer. But I came to FranchiseHelp in the fall of last year with a challenge to, get more education out about the system that FranchiseHelp is and how robust it is in finding those leads. So I've really enjoyed my time. I've enjoyed living in New York, despite the huge number of cases. And I hope everyone out there is staying healthy and taking necessary precautions within reason. Looks like the whole world, but our country and New York, we're all in phases to reopen. And I mean, from everybody at FranchiseHelp, we just can't wait.